channel. If you're new here, my name's Beverly. It's lovely to see you today. So today we're going to be talking about week 3 of the chronic fatigue course that I'm doing. If you want more information, I will link to the playlist for the other videos down below, and also to the course itself if you want to sign up for it and find out more. So, you alright guys? You want to come here? Come on. Show everyone your jumper. Say hello! So, we're on week 3 now, and I have to say before I start that I have been given access to this course in order to review it and promote it through my YouTube channel and my blog. Blog is linked below always. Please go check it out, subscribe and all of that good stuff. I talk more about disabilities and things like that. So yeah, I've been given access to it to review and to promote, but comfy? But all these opinions are my own. I'm not being told what to say. I just literally do the course, follow the directions and see where it takes me. And then I tell you beautiful people what I think. Week 3 was a challenge. Week 1 and 2 I really enjoyed. It was affirmations and it was breaking down your negative thoughts. I've done this before in therapy. You do it a lot in Buddhism. And so I found it quite, I won't say easy, but it was something that I was familiar with and I knew about. This week was about the negative things that we put into our bodies and the way we communicate with the outside world at large. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot with my hands today. I apologise. It's a challenge because when you think of, because this week's called nutrition, nutritional drainers. And when you think of nutrition, you think of, oh, it's diet, it's what I eat. But it's not. It's also things like how often you have artificial light around you, how often you're looking at a blue screen from a television or from your mobile phone or your iPad or your computer. And it's things like having lights on in the house, artificial lights on, and not spending enough time outdoors, which is something we as humans do not do anymore. We don't go outside much. And I'll be honest, I do not leave the house very often. I perhaps leave the house maybe twice a month. No, a little bit more than that, maybe 3-4 times a month. To go out for the day. My husband likes to get me out of the house and out doing things every now and again because he says that it's bad for your mental health, and I agree. Unfortunately, my anxiety keeps me in the house. It keeps me from going out and doing the things that I should do and the things that I want to do. I really wish that I could be the sort of person to go out walking. I used to walk everywhere. Before I got sick, I walked literally everywhere. I lived in Birmingham, which is a big city, but everywhere's kind of walkable. Everywhere's like kind of 20 minutes walk from the city centre, and so I kind of just walked everywhere. It's just what I did. I didn't take buses as often as I probably would do now. I don't take buses now, so I don't know what I'm talking about there. But my point is that I don't go out as much, and one of the first things I was confronted with is the fact that we don't get enough sunshine. And so she says to go out, stick your head out the door at least once an hour, get some natural sunlight. Now I live in England. The girl who started this course lives in Scotland, so she has even less sunlight than we have. Scotland is well known for being overcast and rainy. I'm sorry Scotland, throwing no shade, because you don't need any more, but also I love Scotland. But yeah, so she knows how it feels. You know, it's dark, it's miserable outside. The last thing you want to be doing is sticking your head out when it's raining. But I definitely, this week, took myself on a kind of challenge myself. I was like, no, I'm going to go out for walks. So I took the dog out the other day, and me and my husband went out and we walked. It's like a little, it takes us about 15 minutes to walk it, but it's a very short walk, but I'm just a slow walker these days. And that was really nice, and that's something that I want to do more, even on my own. It's going to take me time to build up, because when you live with anxiety like I do, it's kind of difficult to just then make yourself do things. You have to kind of work up to it, and that's why this video has been delayed by a couple of days. I usually post them on the Monday, but I wanted to give myself a few extra days to just kind of work on things. So that was something that I was like, I really want to work on this anyway. It was something that was in my head. I wanted to learn to do things better. I wanted to get more fresh air, get out there, get out and about. It's something that has definitely been on my mind anyway. And this just kind of reinforced it. On top of that was the dietary changes. I haven't implemented any of these changes as yet, and I shall tell you for why. They're very challenging. The first thing that she says is you can't be vegetarian. People are not meant to be vegetarian. I've been vegetarian since I was 11. I hate the taste of meat. I hate the texture of meat. I can't even eat like vegetarian burgers. If they've been flavoured to taste like meat, I can't eat them. It's just disgusting. I hate the thought of like eating an animal. And I'm Buddhist, so I struggle with the thought of eating and harming animals. Plus, I know the way we treat animals now. Like, my granddad never understood it. We came, like, a long line of butchers and farmers go behind me in my family tree. We're all butchers and farmers. My granddad was a farmer, and he could never understand why I didn't eat meat. He could never understand, A, why I didn't like the taste, and the smell made me feel sick. And he could not for the life of him understand my stance on harming animals, because he couldn't understand that things had changed from back when he was doing farming 30s to 60s, 70s. Very different to now. We treat animals disgracefully. If you look into how we treat animals, it's just gross, absolutely gross. My husband eats meat, and so I have to cook it, and so I have to deal with meat, but I would rather not. So that's my personal choice. However, I will admit that things like eating things for convenience has become a thing. And so I have started cooking again much more than eating prepackaged food. So I made my own soup in the slow cooker with all fresh and frozen veggies and vegetable stock. It was very easy, just left it on low for like 6 hours, and it was bellissima. I shall be having leftovers for lunch today. Me and my husband had that for our dinner last night, vegetable soup. It was yumptious, so I'll definitely be doing that. Moving forward, I'm going to be making more as opposed to eating tinned. So it's things like that. It's really, the course has really encouraged me to start thinking about, no, make the food yourself. And I'm going to start making like my snacks and things like that as well. I found a lot of no-bake recipes for things that you can make easily yourself without baking and stuff like that. A lot of raw snacks that are like high in protein and low in fat and got no sugar added. So that's really cool. I really enjoyed reading about it, but I definitely feel like nutrition is something that I need to research more. I'm somebody who enjoys research. I love learning things. Give me all the things to read. I'm not somebody who will just leap into something. I have to research it. So this week has been more of a research week and more of a trying things out week. But I do feel a lot better just by Things like reading a physical book instead of reading on my Kindle app, which is on my iPad. Things like not having the lights on all day, dealing with natural light more than artificial lights, not having the big lights on at night, just having little lights on so that my mind knows, okay, it's time to start getting ready for sleep. I do have to make a lot of, what's the word? Not considerations. You know, I've got to weigh it up. My husband eats meat, I don't. So we juggle that already. On top of that, my husband loves his TV. He loves having his TV in bed. That's how he winds down and gets ready to go to sleep. He has the television on. I would rather not do that. I'd rather read for a little bit and then go to sleep. So I have to consider my husband as well as myself. However, I have been doing things like not automatically turning on the TV, not automatically putting on the light, not automatically just going straight for my iPad, having more time off the computer, and I have felt better for it. And I think it's something that's going to come over time. So it's something that definitely going forward I'm going to go to. I've wanted to give up sugar for a while now. Doing research, sugar actually causes inflammation in your body. Inflammation causes pain in both of the illnesses that I have. And so I have to kind of think to myself, well, I love sugar. I do love sugar. I do. We all do. We're addicted to it. It's worse than cocaine. Honestly, sugar's disgraceful. If you look up like sugar, it's in everything you buy. You can't buy something without some form of sugar being in it. You think you're being healthy, you read the ingredients on the back, not so healthy. Because everything's just full of sugar now. It's either real sugar or it's artificial sugar or it's some kind of weird chemical thing that's in there. So just really read your labels and try to get things that are as natural as possible or make your own. That's the way I'm going forwards. And they're things that I'm going to be implementing. I mean, this is like the rest of my life. This isn't just while I do this 6-week course and then I'll go back to how I was. This is literally for the rest of my life now. And so I want to definitely research things, look into different types of diets, and there's like no candida and low FODMAP, and it's a little bit overwhelming when you try to think, oh, I want to eat healthily, and then when you actually look at it, there's so much choice and so many different diets and so many different things, and it's just very overwhelming. Thankfully, this course does have a Facebook group which is private, so only people who are on the course or have done the course can access that group. So I'm definitely going to be asking for tips and tricks and any books that they can recommend, because I definitely want to move forward. Trying to get my husband to join in though is very difficult. I must admit that there's the amount of different times that I've tried to go to this more no sugar, low fat, no sugar, being more aware of your fats, making your own meals kind of lifestyle. My husband will start coming home with chocolate and things like that for me, and I'll be like screaming into the void, no! Because my husband is just, it's a typical bloke and he just wants convenience and he just can't be bothered. And he's very addicted. I mean, when I met my husband, he lived on his own and all he ate was ready meals unless he ate at his mum and dad's house. All he ate was ready meals. And I moved in with him and he lost so much weight. It just dropped off him because he was suddenly eating right and not having all this added sugar and rubbish in his diet, and I was cooking for him. Since then my fatigue's gone to a point where I can't cook as easily, but I have a crock pot and I have all these things that are out there that can help. So I'm definitely going to be looking into more diets, and I will be doing more videos about this as well, about my diet as I go forward. I have done videos about it before, I tried using the LifeSum app. That didn't work out for me, but I am still searching. I will find the diet that fits me and my husband. It's like a lifelong dream. I might be like 95 when I find it, but I've found it. So this week I enjoyed it. I found it challenging and difficult, but spending less time on iPads, less time watching TV, more time reading books, more time just being in natural daylight, and more time thinking about the things that I put into my body, drinking water instead of sodas and fruit juices, for example, could be something that you do that you could simply bring into your life today. And those are the things that I'm implementing now, although I switched over to water like about a year ago. I will still say that that's something that you can simply do easily and will make a big difference. So I encourage you all, if you are seeing a difference in me, I can definitely feel it. I definitely feel like I have more energy, I'm more awake. I'm not as dopey in the morning. I can get up a lot faster than I could. I used to have to wait like an hour and a half, just sit in bed, and I'd be watching watching videos on my iPad, just like falling asleep, trying to wake up in the mornings. I'm not like that at the minute. And I'm finding that not being on my iPad as much, not watching TV as much, not using as much artificial light, I'm also finding that my headaches have eased, although I have had neural blocks in my head. So it coincided. It's quite difficult when things coincide like that to say, oh yes, it was definitely this. But it all helps. Everything helps. So if you want more information, I will leave links to the course down below. We're halfway through the course now. I feel like I have about a year's worth of weekly videos to watch in order to just get my head around everything that I need to be doing. I think I watched this week's videos about 6 times, and I know I read them as well because I just felt overwhelmed. There was so much information to take in. But in the last, 100 years, we've gone from being hardly anybody having electricity. I mean, my nan and granddad didn't have electricity or running water in their home when they got married. It was just like a little cottage, farmer's cottage, and there was no electricity, no running water, nothing. And now we have nothing but electricity around us, and we're so reliant on it. I mean, it's terrifying, really. I'm a big conspiracy theorist, and honestly, if our electricity went down, the human race would be gone in weeks. It's just crazy. Look how much electricity we have around us. So I think pulling back from that can only be a good thing, and getting back to things like candles, getting back to things like a more natural way of living, thinking about the things that we're putting in our body and the things that we surround ourselves with is only a good thing. So definitely, if you have chronic fatigue, or if you're feeling stressed or over the top, just life is getting too much, check out the course down below. I would recommend it. I know I'm only halfway through it, but I feel a hell of a lot better already. And I haven't even implemented everything yet, so I'm quite excited to see where things go in the coming weeks. Things might not be weekly from this point on, because I'm going to do updates as I go. I might stay with this week for another week, if that makes sense, because I'm still getting my head around it all. But there will be a new video on this course very soon, and yeah, let me all know. Would you do this course? Would you recommend it? Can you see a difference in me? Leave me comments down below. I would love to know. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. Bye.